All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intellectual Masters Son Jose Qualifier here as we go into another round of 8 matches. It's going to be between QXE and Trace. Let's get into it. Game number 1 for this best of 3. They're already into the game, so I wanted to say that as quickly as I possibly could.
That was, you've got a backup career as an auctioneer, you know, Claris.
Well, my dad is an antique dealer, and I did go to a lot of auctions, so I'm not surprised.
You'd have that down. Anyway, we are in game, and down to the lower left-hand position, we have got a Terran. He goes by the name of Complexities QXE.
And up to the top right-hand corner, a guy that I'm not too familiar with, but apparently is on Solaris Gaming. It is Trace. Trace, a Grandmaster's Protoss from America.
Now, Trace took down Gosu User in order to get here.
It's pretty sick.
So, I think most of us, if we had looked at those games and looked at the brackets a little bit, we would have probably predicted that Gosu User versus QXE would be here. So already a bit of a small upset coming through. And it's going to be really interesting to see how Trace deals with QXE, who has looked quite dominating in the games of his we've cast so far.
Yeah, he did look very, very good indeed. I'm curious to see what he's actually going to do here. I'm surprised that the series has opened up on Foxtrot Labs of all maps, because taking a third base on this map can be kind of treacherous. I want to say for the Protoss more so than not, because positioning your army at either of the two locations can be kind of annoying. So you do have to be careful. You do have to be very careful. And QXE is a guy that is very, very intelligent and will look to exploit that if he catches you off guard.
Well, already we've got this little probe coming out for a quick dash of a scout here. Wants to know what QXE's planning. Expecting to see the Reaper coming down. It was a Rax into that gas, so that'd be very normal. Predominantly for scouting. I doubt we'll see it do too much in the way of damage.
And on this first map now, we will have him spotting the fact that there is going to be a Reaper out, which is a nice little start for him. This is a nice little start, but at the same time, QXE was very, very wary at his natural about what was going on, so made sure to check there early on. Maybe he's used to Trace. Maybe he knows something that I don't about this guy, and that proxies can happen from him, or maybe it's just part of his game plan in general. Just checking.
Well, at the moment we're just in the very early stages. Oh, this is sneaky. How many gases? How many gases? Okay, just the one gas.
Yes.
If there was 2 gases now, I'd be like Dre screaming how there was going to be a very early proxy Stargate, but without that.
If it's for after the Nexus, it works out nicely as well. I mean, delayed, a little bit of delayed tech.
Oh, the Mothership Core got cancelled.
That's interesting, because that makes me think, well, why do you really want to save that gas?
Okay, no, there we go.
For no reason whatsoever. Thank you very much, Trace, for making me look like a fool.
Trace is just doing that.
No. It may be because the Reaper came back in. But then, because like if you don't see a Mothership Core building as the Reaper, it's like, well, where is all your gas going, right? So that might be why he actually weighed it again. Because now that probe was actually not doing anything.
Good guy, Trace, allowing you to look even smarter in the long run.
I guess so.
He set you up for it. Thank you, Trace.
Keeping me on my toes, man. Keeping me on my toes.
No, that's a very good point. It makes complete sense, Claris. So, yeah, now we've just got into the very normal stage of this. 2 barracks being added in here for QXE. So we're seeing very similar to what he did ages ago in the first series of his we cast, going for that 3 racks opening. Gets a probe, the scouting probe. But that's actually quite nice. It means that he doesn't have to worry too much about what else that probe may be doing around the map.
Yeah, at least the probe saw that it was a 3 racks opener, so you can probably anticipate the normal things coming out from this kind of opener, which is one aspect of it, can be that concussive shell that we saw, concussive shell push that we saw from Star-Lord earlier in the series, or the tournament even, I should say. And Trace, in effect, is reacting to this completely normally, just getting the robo when he needs it, all important, such a useful piece of tech. And not really kind of cutting any corners, not like getting Twilight first for Blink or something like that.
QXE, he's getting down concussive shells, so as expected, he's going to be looking to move out, maybe catch a Stalker out of position, get a nice little pick-off, but predominantly that normal kind of 8-minute move out with a group of Marines and a Marauder, and looking to be a little bit irritating, and right on cue it goes, wandering across the map to have a bit of fun.
Yeah, I think our Trace fella here should be okay, though. The Mothership Core's in a good place to start denying. Reaper gets in once again and spots the robo. Yeah. Okay. So at least he knows that he's playing against a very standard normal build. And again, with the Mothership Core in the right place, I don't think he's going to get a huge amount of damage done here.
The trouble is on Foxtrot Labs is the ramp is so far away from the natural, the Photon Overcharge doesn't completely cover it, so there is an opportunity to do quite a lot. The Marauder, unfortunately, not leading the charge, now will catch one of those Stalkers. Not able to take it down, though.
Oh! How did he not get that? Oh, well.
But here, this is what I was saying. Obviously, Foxtrot Labs, you've got that area where the army can stay there. It's still got vision because it's not a high ground area. And if it so wanted to, doesn't see the Observer yet, or maybe doesn't have enough energy for a scan, so won't be able to pick that off.
Yeah, he's just going to keep around the front and keep threatening because he knows that his opponent's next Photon Overcharge, there'll be like a little bit of a lull between the Photon Overcharges. So just being annoying, being pretty annoying. And this forces an Immortal this early, as opposed to like where a Protoss would really like to be, which is getting all the gas into the Robo Bay super fast. So Trace is a little bit pressured.
Okay, Photon Overcharge has now gone, and this is where the army's going to start moving forward. The Mothership Core, not enough energy to Photon Overcharge again quite yet. And this is going to be very awkward. Ooh, the Immortal doesn't want to be there all on his lonesome. A couple of Zealots getting taken out. The Force Field just going to block things up a bit, but to be honest, QXE, is he going to continue on with this? He is. Takes down the Zealots. May get the Mothership Core. That'd be a beautiful pick-off if he can get it. Will achieve it. Not able to stop the Photon Overcharge, though, so that was actually nice by Trace.
That was really, really close.
Split-second timing.
Yeah, he had to pull that back just at the last second.
If you don't get the Photon Overcharge, though, that follow-up can be very irritating.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, a Stalker's going to get taken down here, most likely.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, no, it just gets away.
That follow-up is exactly what QXE was looking for if his reinforcements have been timed out like really, really nicely to get across there, but in the end... It does hold on for now, does Trace, with the second Immortal having squeezed out there before that Robo Bay got finished up.
The Colossus, though, of course, coming on through, as is the Twilight Council and Forge. Behind this, QXE, he's going for his third base. He's adding in a couple more things. Also, just going to try keep going for that trickle damage. Overall, still losing more than his opponent, though.
Yeah, in the end now, with those two Immortals out at the top of the ramp as well, it's going to be difficult to really kind of break that location. Buy some time to get going with that Colossus, as we were mentioning before. But behind all of this, QXE was just flying away with the idea of a third base on the way. It has been spotted now, and his production will kick in pretty darn soon since he just had on his extra fourth and fifth barracks.
So +1 infantry weapons about to finish up for QXE, and that's going to be an important moment for him. It's where he takes actually a very substantial upgrade advantage. His +1's nearly finished before Trace's had really had anything started on it. So it is on its way now, but it's a fair way back. Of course, Chrono Boosting will allow him to start to level that out if it's spent there, but there's other priorities on Chrono Boost at the moment.
And this is where things get interesting on a map like this, where you take your third base on the left-hand side like Trace has, because it can be difficult to position your army properly against a Terran on a map like this. So one Marine is going to stim up and have a look over there on the left-hand side whilst he sends the rest into the mineral line, looking for a few probes on this right-hand side. Doing pretty well already.
Oh, the robotics bay.
Oh, if he got that before Thermal Lance, that would be sick. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's gone.
That's a beautiful pick-off. Extended Thermal Lance, of course, means that now the Marauders match the range of the Colossus. The Colossus is a heck of a lot less effective. And also, until he remakes it, he can't make any more Colossi. That's 3 very big problems.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he actually queued one up behind the other one. I can't really check on this
No,
UI.
I can't check on this UI either.
But that would be interesting if he did. To buy time, or at least
I don't believe he will have had the money to do it. Obviously, Colossus are incredibly expensive, but any moment now we will find out. No.
Okay, well, Warp Prism with a few Zealots on this left-hand side, maybe going to dive into this mineral and do some damage there. But for now, again, I'm feeling it for the Protoss because I really, really don't like holding this base against a Terran who, I mean, look at him. He's already setting up to pressure on 2 sides. This has been spotted by the drop, and there are Stalkers amply positioned to deal with that. Meanwhile, Zealot harassment in the main third base as well. But this is annoying. Very, very annoying. He could get this.
The Nexus is almost certainly going to fall here. The +1 attack is done. A couple of Stalkers pulling back to try and deal with that, but the Nexus, these units should suicide just to kill it, because down it goes, and suddenly most of the Marauders get on out. The drop in the main is disrupted, but still, you've taken out your opponent's third base. Oh, the Warp Prism should be safe.
Yeah, dropping the Zealots there to try and keep them away. So saving the Warp Prism is nice, but again, losing this third base as late as he has done, considering that this base has been mining and under full operation for a long, long time, is really, really going to hurt Trace here. And again, Said at the beginning on this map, it's so annoying to hold on to this third base as a Protoss against Terran.
Now, bear in mind, we've already got the Ghost Academy coming on down for QXC. His upgrades have fallen back a bit. He's about to get the +1 infantry armor through, as well as starting up the +2. So even though his upgrades haven't been back-to-back, they're still better than Trace's for the moment, and that's where more problems start to trickle on through. QXC just slowly revving it up into that next gear, and Trace is struggling to keep at it. And especially without that third base there, it's going to be very hard to keep it on through. And as you can see on screen now, that income disadvantage is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. It's difficult. The one saving grace that Trace had for a little while is that he transitioned into High Templars a little quicker because he was like, well, I've lost my Robo Bay, may as well go for a different tech route, try and stumble my opponent. But, I mean, the Ghost Academy is already finished up, so Ghosts are going to be out pretty nicely to deal with those High Templars if Trace actually wants to do anything. And once QXC's maxed out, I'm not sure... you have to spread your army in such a horrible way that this choke is the real problem on this map. Between this natural and third, it makes it annoying to bounce back and forth between these two locations.
Oh, what is quite nice for Trace is he's got an observer outside the third base of QXC, and he's been able to see the fact that the ghosts are coming on down onto the field. So he is already aware of those, which may be why he's being a little bit more passive and careful.
Sees these rocks being destroyed as well, and there is a Widow Mine over on this right-hand side. But this army is gathering momentum. He's maxed out. He's 130 army supply against 81. If this army here of Traces doesn't land good storms, or if he loses a High Templar to a Marine, for example, is that actually going to die? Oh my god. Oh my god. One single Marine killed a High Templar. My world is complete. That was crazy.
Couple of Marauders just being a little bit annoying. Trying to bait this army through. The scan goes down to see if there's an observer. That's, of course, very important. Trying to actually bait this army of Trace out of position. The Vikings will pick up the Mothership Core. That's a nice takedown.
But what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to go down this ramp and start engaging? The Vikings actually...
the EMPs.
That just took away so much energy from anything on this army. He pushes forwards, and he's already gaining a massive position. How do you engage down this ramp as a Protoss? It's nice storm on the left-hand side, but his army just got destroyed.
That ramp is just a death stroke. The second you move down, the EMP hit. Not only did it wipe out the energy on any of the High Templar that may have been there, it knocked out so much of the shields. QXC, with the second denial of that third base, forces the GG and takes the first game of the series.
Yeah, I mean, it's as if we cashed that game before it even occurred, because that ramp is just...
painful.
This is why, as when I'm playing Protoss, I actually don't play that map. It's really, really annoying to actually secure a third base down there. That was because we're on the Korean client, technically, by the way.
I saw a little message pop up in Korean in the side of my screen right there, and I just obviously had a very puzzled look on my face of seen that before. What's happened here?
We had a problem with the Korean qualifiers before. We frantically had to like reinstall during the week, during the past couple of days, because there was the patch and it didn't. When the server gets patched, like they all don't get patched at the same time, right? So we got locked out of the Korean server, and then we had to go through all that rigmarole. Anyway, so. QXC one game up.
Yep.
Looked really good on that map. Merry-Go-Round is our next one. Still a really good map for Terran. I think QXC
the vetoing went a bit wrong there.
Yeah, I think QXC
compared to the
really
normal.
Shot.
See, that's the thing which I always love in terms of stats, is I would love veto stats.
Yeah. Oh, we actually, I think...
you did that at one point.
Yeah, I think Graham comprised them for WCS Season 2, and then we didn't really use them too much. But it's a very good point. Good luck. But at the same time, you see trends, you see a lot of trends, and the maps that get through more, like Overgrowth and King Sajon, etc., etc., you can just kind of say, well, these ones get through more, I guess I'll take these other ones. But if you broke it down to per race, then that's very telling.
We need to get Messioso some additional work responsibilities there.
He can do it himself, he's lazy. I hope he's listening, but he's probably not.
We'll tell him later in the week when we go out for Korean barbecue.
Yeah, that's fine. That'll do.
Cheer him up. But yeah, Merry-Go-Round, we're coming in here. And of course, if QXC is able to win this game, he advances into tomorrow, where he'll be facing up against Puck, Huck, Violet, Polt, and of course, Cats. I think is the only other person who's got through so far.
Unless the other ones have happened.
I can have a look because I'm not the observing screen while you do the introductions.
Awesome. Spawning up to the top right-hand corner, it's our purple Terran. It is called QXC. And up to the top left, it's our pink Protoss. It is Trance, apparently from Solaris Gaming.
Indeed. So Bells was able to get through.
Hey, I called that at the beginning. That was one going through.
He was able to take down Totekampf.
Totekampf. Oh, poor guy. Why has he got a German name but he plays in America? It's interesting that. Maybe he's got German roots.
Perhaps.
And then what was the other round of 8 actually? It was
Moose Kills versus Intense.
Okay, so everyone's probably predicting Moose Kills to go through. Although I don't, again, like, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert of the American scene because I hardly ever really get to see too much of it outside of WCS America, which is a lot of Koreans. So, anyway.
It's also at a very awkward time zone for us normally.
Yeah, it's not brilliant. It's not brilliant. It's really, really far back when you consider that it's on the West Coast.
Yep. It's like -8, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. It's actually horrendous when you try and... Because I have a lot of friends over there, and I try and play games with them. It's like, hey, I'm awake. All right, I'm going to sleep, bye. And it's like, oh, hey, I'm awake. Oh, I'm going to sleep, bye. And then you just can't actually play games together. So, oh, well.
I'm a delicate flower. I like to be in bed nice and early anyway, normally, and...
But you're someone who, like, takes care of themselves because you are an athlete. Whereas I am a nerd PC gamer who just sits on their chair all day.
I try and combine them. It doesn't work all the time, but anyway, this game, what we've got coming on here is pretty standard stuff. Was that a gas first out of Cats?
Who Cats isn't in this
No,
game.
QXE, sorry.
Yeah, by the looks of things. Because it's going factory.
It's scouted though, nice and early, so that's nice for Trace straight away.
Yeah, spots it. That's okay. So, for now, this it has all been seen. So technically, Trance can prepare, or Trance, not Trance, Trace can prepare.
Just checking around, making sure nothing too crazy is going on. SCV Scout is coming on through, gets a nice little look. Going to be looking at gases, how many, when, where, and how much has been mined so far. Also could be a bit irritating, block up that natural base. Just the SCVs goes for a nice little dance, slowly round the circle.
If you ever had any kind of temptations of skipping out on the Robo early in this game, all that scout for Trace did was affirm the idea of maybe I should get a Robo pretty quick. As QXC, he pokes in and sees the lack of a second gas, so Trace, though, is going to have that Robo soon because there's going to be Widow Mines out. Unless he can catch them off guard before they even burrow, they will cause him some problems.
Of course, that Widow Mine is soon to be completed. Going to be on guard duty until it's ready to be boosted on over by a medevac. No Robo yet. We're just waiting for it nice and patiently. Not enough gas, of course, at the moment for Trace to get that, but...
Is that Widow Mine? Is he just going to walk?
No, okay. It should just go at the top of the ramp in case any brave stalker / zealot / mothership core decide to come on an adventure. But they'd be very brave when they've seen the gas first.
Yeah, and if it did catch a unit at the beginning against this kind of aggressive opener from QXC, then it would spell a lot of disaster for Trace because with the Hellions on the way as well and the medevac coming down, this is a really, really potent composition from QXC that once it does get in its aggressive position is going to cause Trace a headache if it doesn't deal with it properly.
Okay, so the robotics facility is now coming down. The key, obviously, is the observer, the detection for the Widow Mine. The trouble that could come through is the fact that, as you said, the Hellions are there, Kalaris, which maybe is something that Trace isn't expecting.
This probe, heading up to the top, he may collide with this medevac. Well, it's going to
maybe, perhaps.
No, I think it just scaves and doesn't really see much. That's a little bit of an unfortunate time in there for Mr. Trace. But the Hellions darting into the natural. If they force a photon overcharge here and there's nothing left in the main, there's the photon overcharge. Does he have his units here in time? Did the Widow Mine die and I didn't see it?
No, the Widow Mine is there. It's behind the pylon.
Oh, okay. Ooh, scary little guy.
He's hiding.
Yeah.
Trying to bait the Stalkers. Come on, Stalkers, just a little bit closer.
But overall, he must have seen the Widow Mine actually burrow during all of that, so at least he did spot. He's only lost one worker during this. This is good, but he's losing a lot of mining time.
Trace is doing a good job, though, controlling these Stalkers, making sure not to take the bait into that Widow Mine hit and keeping them in a good, safe position, saying, okay, I'll take a little bit of a income hit, but I'll do as much as I can.
That was really good dancing. You're totally right. That was really, really good dancing considering everything that was going on during that. But he did lose 7 workers overall. I assume it was down on this natural or somewhere else in between these because the Hellions were just frying them up as they were transitioning back and forth. But so overall, 26 workers against 28. Third command center being added on. If QXC can get that triple SCV production going, he'll be in an all right spot.
So I'd say right now these two are in pretty similar positions. The resources lost wasn't crazy there. QXE did sacrifice some of his economy for going for that very tech-heavy opening. Going to try and get a couple more kills here, and this is exactly what he needs to do. Only the one Stalker there at the moment, so he's able to get a little bit of damage. Nice little pick up and drop micro actually coming on those Marines there.
Yeah, cute.
Just doing as much as possible.
And the Stalker's even poking at the front as well, forcing SCVs off fire. I don't think he really needs to be doing that, but still, I mean, look at how low the Stalkers are. This shows that Trace is pretty good when it comes to actually controlling these in high-pressure situations. This Hellion, really.
This Hellion's being such a hero, actually.
Really?
No, that's a different Hellion. That one's only got 1 kill, the other one had more, but...
Well...
Racking him up now. 4 probe kills, and that Stalker does not care. Okay, now he's coming over. He's like, enough of this.
That did really, really well. 13 kills in total. And the third command center's finished up, so triple command center production on the SCVs is really, really nice.
A couple of Marines were dropped down there, trying to take out the proxy pylon, but dealt with easily by Trace. QXE and Trace both very level in supply at the moment, only a fraction between the two of them. Neither taking any upgrades as of yet, Stim only just getting started now from QXE. Whereas Trace, he's teching heavily. Already got that Robobay in production. Going to be looking for those Colossi. And he's actually just got a very high army supply at the moment, considering how low his tech is.
Alright, so plenty of barracks. Wait, why does he only have 3 barracks? I guess these 3... I guess he'll be adding on his extra 2 in just a little bit. The build overall for just normal barracks production was slowed down because of the way he opened up a little bit aggressively. And with this on the left-hand side now, just looking to probably kill this pylon and then head off. Should be completely fine with how he's set up. There we go. There's the 4th and 5th barracks. I was wondering where you little fellas had gone.
So all in all, Twilight Council also coming on through. That should be seeing Blink get started from Trace relatively quickly, just to enhance just the potential of those Stalkers even further. Stim is only about half done at the moment for QXC, and this is where we see the knock-on. He went for a very tech-heavy opening, getting the starport and the Widow Mines out exceptionally fast, and followed that up with a very fast 3rd CC, and that always leads to sacrifices somewhere. QXC, though, trying to make up for that by dropping yet again, but not going to have much luck. There's a lot of Stalkers ready and waiting, thanks to the Observer, just to the right of the main of Trace.
Yeah, spotting, that's nice. And even throwing down his 3rd base in a timely fashion compared to when he saw that orbital command heading over there is good. But again, it is a little bit slower because that orbital command was completely finished up. So for now, I can't help but feel that once QXC starts that machine whirring, his army is going to be pretty good. And he's also adding on a 2nd starport. So there is the potential for an SCV pull coming along once this is finished up and producing a lot of Vikings along with it.
QXE hasn't been able to see the robotics bay. Yes, he did see that, so he knows about that. Needs to get the Viking production really starting ramping up, so that's why we're seeing that 2nd starport come on through. Blink on its way, though, at the moment for Trace. He's also adding in the double forges. It's still behind in the upgrades, like we saw in game number 1, but the difference is he only got a single forge there. Double forge means he will be able to catch up with QXE.
I don't know if it's going to fully take effect, though, along with the Templar Archives as well. If QX... Well... I mean, he's taking the 5th and 6th gas here as well, so I would like to have seen maybe an SCV pull with the 2 starports really, really hitting hard, but he's a little bit supply blocked. So everything, all these little things kind of slowing him down there. Oh, but a lovely drop. He can actually get this 3rd base.
If he gets it, it'll be a problem. The army for Trace is not in position. A couple of Zealots are warping there. What does QXE prioritize? He's going straight for that Nexus. Is he going to be able to get it? The Colossus are there, but boom, takes it down, boosts away with the Medevacs. I'm getting deja vu.
Yeah. It's really... Trace needs to keep a good tabs on his 3rd base. And oh, is he actually going to lose Colossi here? He's actually going to lose
There's no extended thermal lance.
Okay. Phew.
Wait, no, genuinely, extended thermal lance hasn't been started. And it's...
Was it not?
No.
Oh, dear.
It's one of those things you just assume that it's done because it's not being in the production tab at the moment.
Wait a minute. Okay, so he has 2 Colossi. If the Templar Archives had been a little bit quicker and if he'd had Storm out, well, he will have Storm out before anything kind of comes along. Then maybe it's intentional. Maybe.
Either way, QXE sees only 2 Colossus. He's already got the Ghost Academy on its way down. We'll just sneaky take down that pylon. We need to be careful. Okay, 1 medevac goes down, but at least it wasn't the full one.
Yeah, and behind all of that QXC right now is macroing up like a boss. This army is going to have a lot of momentum behind it. He's going to have a few ghosts out pretty soon as well. And if he wants to, he could go along with those, but he's obviously going to have to avoid those storms. There's only 3 High Templars out right now, and the income is so severely hurt here for Trace. And
yeah, it's something we didn't skip over it, but more action came through. That 3rd Nexus going down is absolutely devastating to Trace. QXC cut a lot of his production in the mid-game to get a fast 3rd CC, so Trace was already behind. Losing it there just really starts to hurt. He's going to make some of it up, gets a couple of Marines here in a drop, but these are acceptable losses for QXC at the moment, who is up by over 30 supply.
Yeah, Marauder's going to try and get a few more probes on this left-hand side. If they could get a High Templar or 2, that would be amazing. But the Colossus are there to be able to prevent. Nice feedback. Should be able to deny that from doing anything as well. There's going to be so many Vikings, so many Ghosts, and he's going to hit max out again when the Protoss is struggling around like 80 to 90 supply.
Bear in mind, the upgrades are a lot more similar this time, though. In game number 1, we saw QXE actually with the 2-1 upgrades up against, I think it was the 1-0. Whereas in this game, Trace with the double forges, he's at 1-1. May even have 2-2 down if he keeps chrono boosting nicely on them, but time will tell. The observer positioning is nice, but a missile turret is being constructed right beneath it, so its time is limited for this world.
Yeah, he really needs to get that out of there, but alas, not going to happen. Gets popped. But 4th base on the way here for Trace, and it's in a location where Terran is going to start being really irritating if he doesn't understand that that is going down there.
On the bright side, at least the 3rd has a bit of a buffer.
True. Overall, though, I am kind of... Trace has been super passive. I mean, where are pylons to warp in for counter zealots? Where is a war prism to try and throw down some counter zealots? He's had no room during this game, or hasn't felt in his mind that he's had no room to do it. And for that, I mean, QXE is now maxed out.
And with it, he gets a very scary position, because you're sitting here as Trace. He doesn't really have much of anything. He has a couple of High Templar. That was a good storm, actually, as well as a few more. Just trying to be a bit annoying, but Marauder's not the most susceptible to that. Otherwise, there's 3 Colossus. They still don't have extended thermal lance, though. That is actually becoming quite a big problem.
There's actually only like 2 or 3 more High Templar with actual energy for storms, because he hit an EMP on the high ground and then denied those 2 on the top left, and they had to be turned into an Archon. So if QXC realizes how far he is ahead in terms of the army supply and the power behind it, then he could go, but, well, he's going to try and push down this 4th base. Has to be careful, though.
Photon Overcharge is triggered. Another scan coming on through. Just wants a good look at this army. The Ghost's going to be gunning to try and get a couple of those EMPs through. The Blinkstalkers try and back away. This is a little tentative poke up, poke down. EMP's not really getting too much, as well as 2 Ghosts dying spectacularly as always.
Yep. There's 3 High Templar at the back. Very well protected by this army, but at the same time that means that storms at the front can't go down unless they go straight into range. EMPs once again at the front, weakening up some of this army. Blinks forwards, trying to get some of these Viking numbers down because, well, those Colossi, there's 4 of them, but they really can't do anything because Thermal Lance still isn't there.
It is being researched now, though, so Trace is aware that it is missing from his army. QXE may not have realized yet. It's going to be a bit of a difficult grab. He should have noticed, but either way, we do have a nuke. And that's something you don't often see as well. It's more Ghost Academies for more nukes. QXE going to be putting on a bit of a show for us.
Oh, wow. Okay, then. Well, when it comes to these last games, people like Cats and QXE really want to entertain us, and I'm okay with that. As
realistically, they will be much more positional nukes, just trying to take control of the map, and not going to be going for any miracle hits.
I mean, what stops him just nuking from the low ground up towards this base and then always denying the income, right?
Yep.
And then eventually it would kill the Nexus. And this is the ledge that is always so notorious on this map. How do you actually start defending this? Ooh. Especially when he didn't have Thermal Lancers before, so it's really irritating. He's losing a few Stalkers and probes here for almost nothing.
QXE is just doing a fantastic job. There's one of those nukes coming on down. It's like, well, you can attack my army, but everything's about to die if you don't decide to move it.
Oh, we got the ghost. Oh, wow. That was a really nice pick off there by Trace.
No nuke. That's one way to stop it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Of course, still, overall, that was good control, though, by QXE. It was forcing the Stalkers between two of the mineral patches, meaning that they were basically coming single file at the Marauders, and they were trading very nicely. Upgrade-wise, quick update on that, and it's sitting at 2-2 on both sides. 3-3 is actually ahead, though, for Trace, thanks to those chrono boosts, which means that he's going to have an upgrade advantage shortly. But Doom Drop!
Wow, brilliant play as well, just because you're spread so far out from one base to another here. QXC really exploiting that, killing off gateway after gateway, crippling some of this economy.
It's taking down so much of the production facilities as well. That's the problem. So many gateways getting taken out here. Trace frantically trying to get back. He's got a little bit supply block because of it. Moving some of his army out to look to counterattack. The Zealots coming on through. Extended Thermal Lance finally finished, but everything pretty much gets out and to safety.
I love it. What a beautiful play that was. And, well, this little army moving down to the bottom right-hand side. Trace looking to even things up, but if this gets repaired, these Archons really need to get on top of the SCVs and start killing those off.
Oh, the repair's not good. The missile charge are actually going to be stopping it with the force fields. That was a bit of a anti-Sim City right there.
Yeah, that's a nice pickup, though, for Trace. Really needs to get some kind of damage done, and, oh, well, kaboom, baby, once again. Let's see if this does anything. He evacuates from it, so not much going to happen here.
It's still denying that mining time, as you said, though, Kalaris, earlier on. It's just a little bit annoying. One hit goes down. Leaves such a nice crater.
Yeah, it does. There was something going on up to the top left, but oh well. I think he just killed a pylon or something. But at least he's repairing, bunkering, getting this base back up now. This army, though, for QXC, it's like 12 Ghosts, 11 Vikings, still quite a lot of bio. And Trace, yeah, his army's looking pretty cool. 6 Colossi in there with 6 High Templars as well, but if it's a massive Ghost Viking army here for Mr. QXC, it's going to be hard to break.
Finally, that Widow Mine gets taken down. A little bit irritating overall. Loads of scans coming out from QXC as well. He's just trying to find any observers that may be out on the map. And in credit to Trace, it's something he's been doing fantastically, is keeping observers and keeping his vision going solid.
He might hit another location, seeing how many Colossi are up at this top left-hand corner. That is a huge portion of his army out in the middle of nowhere. If he went to the 4th base now and tried to do some damage, this could be a brilliant play, because he knows how much is up to this top left.
But that's where the observers come in. There's so many of them around the map and just such solid vision. The watchtower being controlled as well. Straight away, the second Trace sees this army moving through, he moves his Colossus down and is ready to deal with it. And so with that, it is going to be harder for QXE to try and hit a different base, but the scans are just continual.
Yeah, drops one there. Where was the other one? Down to this bottom right. He could easily deny that base. And this game could continue on. Warp Prism gets denied on this left-hand side, and Trace killing off just a few Marines, but, I mean, the Marines don't matter at this point. He wants to sacrifice them for some better units, more efficient units. Ghosts and Vikings are certainly that.
Shield upgrade also coming on through now for Trace. QXE doesn't quite have the 3-3 up. Sorry, he does have the 3-3 upgrades now, so that's level. And EMP hits on the high ground. That was just a nice move. Takes 2 of those High Templar out of action, only leaving 4.
Yeah, he actually only has 2 more High Templars on the map, and they're between the natural and this 4th base, so no more High Templars. Oh, wait.
There's 2 in the army. There's 4 in total.
Where did the other ones go?
They're just...
Oh, well. Oh, well.
They became an Archon.
Yeah. Okay.
After the EMP.
And here we go. More nukes.
But also more planetary fortresses being killed.
Yeah.
Or slowly. This time at least a bit more of a repair coming off, but not quite as efficient.
I want to watch the nuke. We watched the planetary die a bit ago. I like watching nukes. They're fun. This army, well, there is always recall available, but it doesn't want to get self-pinned in. That's for sure.
QXE coming on over. Had a bit of enough of this now. Did recall out though, so going to be safe. Bear in mind there's also a hidden base being taken at the moment by Trace down to the south.
Ouch. That actually did quite a bit to those ghosts, that storm, but in the end they will be healed up. But yeah, as you say, taking that base down to the bottom right-hand corner, you could argue that that's really on QXC's side of the map. But he's not going to be able to really do too much. Well, I say his side of the map, it's like 3 parts, since it is that 3-player map, so whatever. the point is that QXC right now doesn't have too much of a bank left over, but his army, the cost of his army is going to be heightened in comparison to the Protoss.
Yep.
So one could argue that that should provide efficiency overall.
It's also the army supply due to losing the workers that's quite important for QXC. He's at 161 army supply to 121. Already giving him a big lead. The downside is, though, the Colossus count climbing. 7 Colossus, 9 High Templar on the field. That's a lot of splash damage output with the Storms and the Thermal Lance. So QXC needs to be careful when he does take an engagement.
I wouldn't mind even seeing nukes going down at alternate locations, because this is almost becoming too predictable, but I can't believe he's actually not pulling away. Oh, okay. All right, so not too much done.
Still the nukes going strong, though.
Yeah.
Waiting, just checking around. To be honest, QXC, he is building up a bit more of a bank now, which is important for him. He took the bases to the top of the map at the 12 o'clock position, so going to keep that income trickling on by. But again, we're getting into that, I don't want to say a stalemate, we're getting into a very passive phase of the game where both people are happy to poke and prod and harass, but neither want to commit, because if you lose an army at this stage, no matter how much money you've got in the bank, if it's a large amount of losses, you just lose flat out.
Yeah, there's another scan spotting all of this. Just starts dropping extra nukes, catches himself a few ghosts on the edge of all of that, and this is going to be a slow game if QXC has anything to say about it. He can just keep nuking and nuking and nuking, slowly into cannons, entrenched positions. But look at the bank that Trace is actually building up here. So these nukes are not going to stop.
It's definitely starting to become a sizable bank, and that can cause some problems. Were the gateways that were lost earlier remade? Yes, they were. 14 of them on the field at the moment, so resupplying won't be too much of a problem. That was a very nice nuke, though. That took out a lot of static defense.
I'm surprised he actually didn't cancel anything there. I mean, yes, cool, you have a really nice bank, but you do want to be saving as much as possible. So, wait a minute. There's something going on over here, and he gets the Templar Archives. That's a brilliant pickup.
It really is. The Robotics Bay could also get taken down. This Natural Nexus is probably going to fall. Add in that the hidden base has now been discovered. The concerning thing, though, is Trace is coming down, or coming up from behind. Good scans by QXC lets him know that it's there, but it also lets him know that the army isn't coming back to defend that shove into the natural.
Yeah, Trace is feeling a little bit pressured. Really doesn't want to be taking any engagements anywhere. Drops down the scan, gets himself 1 High Templar. How many will stick around for a few feedbacks as well as snipes? Eventually whittle down the numbers, but as he trades away against some of those High Templars, he doesn't, again, have a High Templar Archive. So if he gets kills on them, he can replenish Ghosts whenever he wants, whereas High Templars are hard to come by at the moment.
This infantry going to be running up the ramp. We'll be able to pick off a Colossus very easily. A couple of units getting warped in as well. Should deter too much, but these medevacs dropping the Marauders in, they're going to be gunning for anything that they can find, and still, Trace not responding to it.
Ooh, Ghosts moving forwards a little bit.
Oh,
here
good EMPs.
Yeah, and actually, I'm wondering how many High Templars even have energy left here. There's a few on this left-hand side.
Yeah, although one of them's a bit low. Simultaneously dropping the main base, getting quite a bit of work done.
If he got the Twilight Council, that would be brilliant, because there was no Templar Archives replenished, right?
Nope.
So that would slow it down 2 tiers, but he's not going for it. He's just killing off the Zealots that are warping in over and over. Getting the Twilight Council would be so nice here for QXC, I feel.
It'll be interesting to see if he is able to grab it. Bear in mind, QXC, he's also just basically taking every map possible. A couple more EMPs coming down here. QXC slightly cornered. Doesn't really like that, but neither does Trace like trying to push into the EMPs.
These drops are going to get out in the end, or, well, at least the medevacs, but this army feels a little bit stranded, sadly. Couldn't he just pick everything up with the medevacs and just move away? I mean...
I'm pretty sure he could. He doesn't have too much there.
Yeah.
Maybe not all of it in one go, but he could pick up a vast majority of it. Goes for a couple more EMPs.
Yeah, maybe not everything. Yeah. No, you're right, because Ghosts, you can only put 4 in a medevac, right?
Yep.
So that would be a lot of supply into only 6 medevacs alone.
Well, a couple of Stalkers getting taken down here. They're a little bit out of position. Plus the 2 Observers die.
Yeah.
Overall resources lost. Trace is losing quite a lot more than QXC, namely just under 6,000, 5,000 more.
These 2 High Templars on the right-hand side are super vulnerable at this point, but there are still 2 in that in the middle of that force. So here comes another hit squad on the left-hand side. This game is going long, but this Marauder and the Marine on the high ground above this base is so cool. Just denying that mineral income.
Note that Trace's army is just getting whittled away, and QXC's happy to keep this army pinned in the corner because Trace doesn't want to leave it.
And even setting up pylons to deny a little bit of movement here, but there's going to be a nuke to start the slow push out of here on. And that certainly will allow him to escape if he really wants to. Cancels it and just gets right on out of here. But he could drop a nuke here as well.
It is still getting scary times. Of course, there's that Marina Marauder up on the high ground, as you mentioned earlier, getting a little bit of damage down onto the SCV line. With 35, nearly 36 minutes into this game now, and this has been a very long TvP.
Yeah, this is probably one of the longest TvPs I've actually ever seen on Merry-Go-Round. You don't normally see them go this long. Trace is trying to keep himself in it. But again, QXC, if he wins this, he just goes to tomorrow. So why would you give up? Why would you really let him get in here?
Oh, those EMPs, so good!
Okay, hit every single High Templar. This army actually has to back off. There's no way he can stick around. I mean, yeah, he has a lot of damage in the Colossi, but...
There's also a lot of Vikings, though. 14 Vikings are there. There's still the danger of these, well, just everything. The scans is coming on down. Nice nuke positioning. Wants to take out that static defense. Also, if he tries to go and deal with the Marauders, there's a nuke dropping on your head, so you can't go and do that. That means more probes die, which isn't the end of the world when you've got 5k in the bank, but...
There's another nuke potentially here for him, I think. He's pushing on this left-hand side as well.
Up in the main, damage is being done nicely, and this is production facilities getting taken on down. Meanwhile, QXE's just got, well, he's got a lot of command centers. He's got a lot.
It's just a game of patience, and overall, I think Traces may have ran out. He's actually pushing this army back. There's EMPs across a lot of that army, trying to deal with this, but at the same time, I mean, how can you? Even if he trades off against this army, he's going to lose so many of his Colossi. He doesn't really have the power to replenish it because he doesn't have the infrastructure, and he has no observers. He can't actually see all of these ghosts going to town. Oh, QXC takes a brilliant engage.
That is fantastic for QXC there. Gets himself about 60 army supply up stage. Bear in mind as well that, as you said, there was no observer. It wasn't even the entire force of QXC. A lot of the Marauders in the main base. Finally, a whole heap of Zealots getting warped in, but they're being fought in a choke point, minimizing how effective they can be, maximizing the Marauders' efficiency. Adding in that QXE has got now a lot of command centers. He's got 15 orbital commands and 5 planetary fortresses, 20 command centers. He's got a lot of mules.
Yeah, I can't believe only just now are we seeing Trace replenish that Templar archives.
He doesn't have the robotics bay built back either. So.
No, he doesn't even have a robo, so there's another nuke. Oh, okay. There's another nuke, not really going to do anything at all. And Planetary Fortress still up on the top left. He has just the wealth to do anything he really wants. Trace needs the Templar Archives finished. Well, okay, it's finished now, so he can warp in a lot of High Templars, which he really needed quite a while ago. But QXE wasn't willing to press the issue, even though he was way up in terms of army supply.
I'm surprised QXE didn't go for it. It would have been a very advantageous time for him to try and take a fight, just wearing down Trace more than anything else. And you touched on it earlier. QXE can just wait this out. Goes for a big drop into the main. He just wants to pick off all of the potential production facilities.
Yeah, I think QXE, with him backing off after that engage, was giving a lot of respect to his opponent, right? Saying, well, you must have replenished. I know you've probably got a big bank during all of this. You've probably replenished all of your tech behind that, but it being as slow as it was meant that there was a window, but QXE just didn't know about it in the end.
So this army will need to be very, very careful. Wants to take the best trade possible. Picks up. Boosts away, or should boost away any second.
Doesn't even need to, there's no storm.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Better boost away from nothing, but yeah. Gets out of there quite happily. That takes the gateway count down to 7, so it starts making it quite difficult actually to spend this very large bank, and that very large bank is also frantically disappearing. Only 1,500 minerals remaining for Trace.
Yeah, the fact that he's lost almost his entire main, and we may get in a situation where if he expands down to the very, very south position, then it will look like a very strange game where maybe he started down to the bottom, but that would be kind of strange. As for now, QXC still adding on extra nukes. He's got 15 ghosts. He's only got 9 Vikings, but it's only to tackle 1 Colossus because there was never the replenishment of that Robo Bay, was there? So,
Still checking on what's coming through. Okay, so quite a few of the gateways are being replenished now. There's also the Dark Shrine coming on in. That does open up some issues with some more harassment, but look at the composition of QXE's army. 15 ghosts. He's got oh, nice snipes down on a couple of those High Templar. Oh, and 2 more hit by EMPs. QXE is just playing this methodically and just patiently.
Yeah, he doesn't have to take direct engagements because every single one of these trades, apart from that one, on to the
Well, even that one
feedbacks.
went quite well. A couple of High Templar were taken out. There's only 3 left, and I don't even know if they've got energy, to be fair.
Let's see. They're all at this hidden, well, not hidden base anymore, but they're all at that base down to the south, which is very important, that base, because it's pretty much the only healthy mining one, along with this one down here.
Oh, another drop into the main base here, coming down from QXC. Going to take down the Cybernetics core. Should be able to get all of these Zealots fairly easily as well, or at least a lot of them. They're a bit confused, just walking past. Don't walk the entire army past. Oh, the Immortals.
He was paying more attention to what was going on in the middle, trying to deny these ghosts from doing a whole lot, but that was a really, really bad trade up to the top left here for Trace, who is just kind of crumbling at the end. QXC, again, he's been in a lot of these situations. Probably Trace has as well, but QXC is just showing a masterclass right now of how to play out this game patiently.
Just wear them down.
Yeah.
Wear them down until they just... It's little things like that move command through on that army. It's not... It is pretty...
Starts getting to you after
It's pretty
so
bad,
long.
but it's just a little mistake like that. Actually, that gives you quite a big edge. And it's very easy, even us here as casters looking at this game, and by this sort of stage, we're sitting there getting actually a little bit drained and trying to focus on everything for such a prolonged period. If you're playing, it's even more intense. That level of focus required to every little small movement. It's incredibly impressive.
Army supply 167 against 80, and unless these High Templars hit some great storms, it's going to be very difficult to end up winning this game for Trace. He's down on bases, he's going to be down on income with the mules just hitting home, because there's a lot of orbital commands, and
there's 16 orbitals.
Yep, he likes them. He likes them
16
a lot.
orbitals and 6 planetary fortresses. Ooh, good storm there.
Not so much that one.
But again, the medevac count's pretty healthy. The medevacs have all got a lot of energy, so healing on that damage, if it doesn't kill things, it's going to be fairly easy.
Well, QXC likes to play this one out long. Another nuke going up on this top right. At least he sees it instantly, moving his High Templars just a little bit out of the range, but he needs to move them even a little bit further. So here we go.
Oop. Nice little explosion. Quite a big explosion, actually, but bit of annoyance coming in from these Zealots. They're not going to be getting back the what could have been a 3rd or 4th base.
Oh,
nice snipes and EMPs.
Just go and take that base, QXC. You've got it, brah. Just go get it.
There's only 2 High Templar left on the field. There's 1 Colossus. Trace really is crumbling, and there's the GG. Well played. 46 minutes of that PVT, and QXC takes it 2-0.
It took a little while.
It did.
But in the end, QXC showed us why he is the superior player. He outplayed Trace, basically, there. Drawed him left and right, always hit the EMPs, always hit the snipes.
He was basically just trying to force errors.
Yeah.
And that's what he was able to do. And I don't mean that in a bad way to Trace, but actually in a great way by QXC. He was, just as you'd see in tennis or something, people just trying to force out any mistake from their opponent they can. And those little things like the Immortals and the Zealots on a move command rather than an attack command allows just Trace to slowly start whittling down the odd snipe from the Ghosts onto the High Templar. It chips away, and QXC now advances forward into tomorrow.
Yeah, and that means now we have our full 8 players determined going into tomorrow's double elimination bracket. 1 player will advance from tomorrow between Hook, Puck, QXC, Violet, Palt, Moose Gills, Bales, and Cats. That was 8, right?
Yep.
Sick. All right. That was
I think it was anyway. It seems like it. There's also a change in format for tomorrow. It's a double elimination bracket rather than today's single elimination bracket, which means we should be getting a couple more series up here on mainstream. I believe the plan, if I'm not mistaken, and do correct me if I am, Kalaris, we'll be sitting there doing 1, maybe 2 semifinals, a losers bracket round 3, losers bracket finals, the winners finals, and the grand final.
I think we'll be doing 1 semi-final, then going into the winners. Also, I believe Base Trade will be streaming at the same time as well to cover other games that we are not covering. So, yeah, anyway. That is going to be going on at the same time tomorrow. So, 10 p.m. CEST, unless the time changes tonight.
Which we're not actually
which
sure.
My producer's about to tell me because I can see him talking to me. So, whatever the time change means, backwards or forwards.
It's definitely 4 p.m. EDT.
Does that not change?
No, I don't think America changes until next week in their daylight saving.
We love you, America.
I think. I could be wrong, though.
Okay. We have no clue, America. We are...
Basically,
we are useless.
It's because our phones auto-update nowadays. We don't have to worry about it. It just buzzes and says, go and cast stuff, and we do it when it says.
All right, so tune in tomorrow. One player will advance onto the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose. It's been a pleasure bringing you today. We'll see you tomorrow, same place, same time, but 1 hour before or after. Bye-bye for now.